P.S.I. Radio, Yorkshire and the Humber's foremost paranormal internet radio talk show. Bringing you the very best laid-back paranormal chat from the UK with your hosts, Anthony Weeks and founder of P.S.I, Mark Lindsay. 7:30 till 8:30 p.m. GMT every Sunday, covering the weird and the wonderful, such as cryptozoology,
demonology,
UFOs,
investigation,
divination, witchcraft,
near-death experience, and much, much more. Chat box is always open, so why not join in and become a part of the show? The paranormal just got real. Well, good evening, people. If you've just tuned in, you are listening to PSI Radio. It's Sunday the 13th of August, and have we got a show for you tonight? We're talking about shadow people, shades of the underworld. I'm here with Mr. Mark Lindsay.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, how are you?
I'm very fine, thank you. I had a fantastic weekend.
Good to hear it. We'll be with you in a tick.
When we change the way we see, what we see begins to change. A shifting of the mind, yeah. There's a way if only we can keep on up. Distractions from the sacred call, that lonely little light in the dark. Down the house to unearth the treasure. Time and time again, down again, it goes. Dive, drop, nose dive, tumble from the slip slide. Give in, go down, let the slump subside. Surrender or succumb to it. Pass into enemy hands, yeah. Big trip, tumble, slip down, stumble. Decrease, decline, overthrow, resign. Dwindling, capitulate. Admit defeat. Down the house to unearth the treasure. With that wealth build again a house much better. Time and time again, I know. Down again, it goes. Lying down facing the mud, make the move you know you should. The lesson learned is a lesson long, hidden in all our misfortune. The blessed way is the path we live on, restores the body, makes us strong, lifted to a higher place, until such time we fall from grace. Fall down. Time and time again, down again, it goes.
Well, good evening, people. It's nice to see you all there in the chat box. How the hell are you all? Well, we've got some great shout outs coming out later. What was it? Oh, squirrely.
She started again. Oh, Mark, I do have it bad for Tony. Oh, good evening, everyone at Murphy Paranormal. Good evening, sir.
Yeah,
How
good
the
evening.
hell are you?
Good evening, Verve, and everybody else that's listening. We can't see your names. We have got a few more shout-outs at halfway.
Absolutely. Yeah, great bit of interaction going on in the chat box already.
I think
That's
you've got a
what we like
stalker
on
there,
this show.
Tony. Do you know what I mean?
I hope so. It's the only one.
Stalking you.
It's the only one I've got. In that case, I'm glad she's in America and I'm in the UK.
You're going a bit red there, Tony.
I think Shirley could be a little bit of a scary lady, to be honest.
You love it really, don't you?
Oh, I do. And I love Shirley. I think she's lovely. There you go. Well, if you have just tuned in, it's Sunday the 13th of August. You are listening to P.S.I. Radio, and have we got a show for you tonight? A little bit creepy. We're talking about shadow people or the shades of the underworld. Now this, interestingly enough, this show gave birth really because we as a team, PSI, Paranormal Scientific Investigators. Well, Mark, do you want to tell us how you came across this strange verse?
Yeah. The verse in question that you're talking about, Tony.
Yes.
I was doing some research because obviously on the internet we see a lot of things about shadow people. So I thought, right, let's do a bit of research on that and see if we can come up with something. And we did. I went to the Historical Centre in Kingston upon Hull. Forget the name of the street. Can you remember the name of the street? What the new theatre's on?
I can't. I must have been there 100 times, but I couldn't tell you the name of the street.
I went in the History Centre. I have a card which gives me access to one of the rooms with a very special name. What you'll tell me about because I forgot the name.
Yeah, it's all hermetically sealed, and you've got to request to go in, and it's got vapour locks around the doors and this, that, and the other. It's got some really, really good old literature in. Yeah,
it's where they keep all the very, very old stuff, which obviously doesn't get damp or anything. Do you like my glasses, Tony? These were from the pound shop.
They make you look like Elvis Costello. Very fetching, sir.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Donna. How are you doing?
So yeah, I had a look in there. I grabbed what books I could find. I had 5 or 6 on the table because you can't take them out of that room for various reasons, and you're not allowed to photograph things either. So I took pen and paper with me, did a bit of research, and I found the verse. The books in question are quite rare as well. Do you know what I mean? So we're pretty lucky to find it.
Yeah. Excellent.
But I did write it down.
Excellent. Shall I read this verse out?
You read it spookily out with some cool sound effects.
This verse. This verse, when it was found, it actually came with instructions, and it seems to be about shadow people. When did you say that the date was from? It was referencing works from more or less the 1400s, wasn't it? But we don't think it was that old, but it was referencing works from the 1400s.
Yeah, the book I don't believe was from the 1400s, although it is a very old book. The actual, like you say, the verse itself and the information was documented from round about that era.
Yeah, excellent. Right, so here's the verse, guys. The instructions were when the moon was full. And it did specify a beeswax candle, but the actual verse is. Let me put a bit of a creepy effect on here. Here we go. Right, are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm really scared, Tony.
You should be. This is scary stuff. Shadow man from aether form, in Selas bright before the dawn, to do was bid, then fade away, at our command. A farther day. There we go. And that's the verse. And I must admit, I've never come across anything like that. But then again, I don't go digging around in archives.
Yeah, well, you know me. If I haven't got a job on through the week, I'll go and do a bit of research. So that's what I did.
Excellent.
It says natural candle, black beeswax candle on a full moon. So we are quite safe with you just saying that verse because it's not a full moon.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I did looked up the meaning of Selas, and apparently it's... Hi, Donna. Can you hear us all right now? Yeah, well, presumably you can. It looks like you've plugged your headphones in. Well, the Selas actually means, or the definition of Selas, or in as it says, to put it in context, Shadow Man from Aether form in Selas, bright before the dawn. Selas is it actually means bright moonlight, or moonlight and the light of the stars and the rest of the universe, and this, that, and the other. But it doesn't actually mean full moonlight, although it can mean that it's the light of everything that's in the sky on a night in Selas.
Yeah.
Strange word.
Just before you go on there, Tony, we have had a request in the chat room. Can you please repeat that? Because Murphy Paranormal would like to write that down.
Ah, right, yeah, of course. Well, without the effect, this is just for you. Do you have a pen? I'm presuming that you do. You can actually access this show in the show reel on the Mixlr page as well, but seeing as though you're tuning in, I'll say it again just for you. And it goes like this. Shadow Man from Aether form, and ether, I think it's spelled Aether, Aether form, in Selas, Selas, bright before the dawn, to do was bid, that's WOS, that presumably means to do our bid, to do was bid, then fade away at our command of Father Day.
And that's it. It's as simple as that. But I
short and sweet.
Some of the research as well, what I was doing, I don't know if you've got it wrote down there, Tony.
It's probably in here somewhere.
What I put on the PSI page. This was used a lot in the early days of witchcraft, and even some of the witches, it says, wouldn't use it because the little blighter, once you've summoned him up, won't clear off until daylight, so you're stuck with him all night.
Little blighter. I like it. I like the use of the word. Now then, I'm gonna get on here onto the post that we actually put out, because I just want to recheck some of the details of that. But guys, what do you think? You know, throw it up in the chat box. Squirrely says, "Wow, Murphy Paranormal thinks that's outstanding," and thank you. You're very welcome, sir. Don Wilkinson says, "Lol."
If any of you dare try that, that is down to you on a full moon with a black beeswax candle. Pretty much that's it. You're gonna have to deal with it all night if you do that. And if you do that, can you please document it and put it on our page so we can have a look and see what's going on?
Yeah, actually, right. Well, part of the post reads, England was rife with witchcraft and other supernatural occurrences, but one spirit was feared the most, and that was the Shadow Man. The darkest of witches feared summoning Shadow Man, as he would not leave until dawn. Once brought forward, he would haunt the whole family until the sun rose again. Only then would they have peace. Always seen in the corner of the room as a shadow figure wearing a hat. Now, this is weird, because most of the research I've done on this, and especially we've got a recorded interview, it's a first-hand account of a Shadow Man, and I believe it's your mother, isn't it, Mark?
Yeah. I've heard of this. She told me years ago when I was like 16, and I've always remembered it. It's while she was pregnant with Mike, which is my older brother, and while she was pregnant with me. Am I doing it now?
Just give a description, and then we'll play the clip in the second half.
Yeah. So yeah, she was pregnant, and it was on Northumberland Avenue in Kingston upon Hull, which for those of you around here know where that is. The first time was in 1970 when when she was pregnant with Michael, and the next time was in 73 when she was pregnant with me. She recalls a group of shadow people around the room, but for some reason the main one all the time was the Shadow Man in the hat stood behind the TV, and the TV back then was these little thin metal legs on them with a aerial thing on the back.
Yes. Oh, yeah. The rabbit seers, they used to call them, didn't they?
Yeah. And my dad would be sat, on the sofa with her, and she'd say, she was saying today to me, "What have you bloody let him in for?" And my dad was saying, "Oh, what are you on about?" He said, "She went, him stood behind the TV," and he said, "There's nobody there." He said, He put it down to, hormones and just imagining it, but all the way through pregnancy with Michael and me, this guy kept popping in and out, and she did a recording, and we'll play it in the second half so people can listen to that. It's a first-hand recording as well. It's pretty spooky because this does happen. It is a bigger phenomenon than people realise.
Do you know what the weird and most creepiest thing that I think is about all of these stories? Do you know what it is? It's when they say they wear a hat. And I was pretty sceptical of that. I thought, why would they wear a hat? Why a hat? But you come across this so many times, and indeed with the story of your mum, and the story of the old thing that you found with that little verse. It always describes the figure wearing a hat. There's got to be something to this. There's got to be something to this shadow person phenomenon. Is it one person? Is it one spirit that's kind of omnipotent, if you like? Well, we all know there should only be one in that realm, but, what about the hat? To join this ghostly club, you've got to have a nice fedora.
Well,
it's crazy.
The interview my mother gave, which the recording says, she says it did eventually form features, which she actually goes into great detail about, which is very strange as well.
Right, creepy stuff. Well, sightings of shadow people are arguably the most often reported type of ghost or spirit sighting. One reason for this is that many sightings might merely be ordinary shadows or illusions that the experiencer assumes is a shadow person. For those who are more certain about their sightings, however, the vast majority describe them as scary, creepy, or evil figures. Often, very often, there is no reason to attribute these negative aspects to the entities. It's usually just a feeling. This is only natural since the sighting of something dark and unknown instinctively arouses fear in the human mind. Excuse me. Because we fear what we do not understand. And I also think, Forest Moon, hello there, how are you?
Good evening, sir. I believe that's possibly Eric.
Excellente. Nice to see you listening there, buddy. Yeah, well, going back to this, talking about the sighting of something dark and unknown instinctively arouses fear in the human mind. We fear what we do not understand. No, do you know, I think we... hello, Eric. Yeah, good to see you up there. It's just the confirmation. Because I think in our millions of years of evolution, right, that we are hardwired to fear things that are, that we don't understand, especially if they're dark and brooding entities. Never mind that we don't understand them. Someone always told me once about paranormal investigation, and this was some years ago. And I always remember this, and I think I've said it to you a few times, and that is always trust your gut.
Yeah.
I said, "What? Why trust your gut over what?" And the reply I got almost knocked me off my feet, and it was brilliant. It was simple and it was brilliant, and it says, "Because your gut knows what your brain hasn't worked out yet."
Yeah.
And I thought, "Whoa!" And it was one of those whoa moments.
Well,
I've always remembered that.
Perhaps this is an old phenomenon with a new name that is now being discussed more openly. In parts, thanks to the internet. Or maybe it's a phenomenon that for some reason is manifesting with greater frequency and its intensity now. Those who experience and studying the shadow people phenomenon say that these entities almost always used to be seen out of the corner of the eye and very briefly. But more and more people are beginning to see them straight and for longer periods of time. Some experiencers testify that they have even seen eyes, usually red, on these shadow beings. The mysterious sightings have become a hot topic of conversation in the paranormal chat rooms and on message boards and websites, and it's given widespread attention on, paranormal talk radio shows such as this. What are shadow people and where do they come from? Several theories have been offered. I won't read the full lot, but it could be your imagination, could be ghosts, could be demons, spirits, or other entities. Get this one, astral bodies.
Yes, why not? I mean, we don't know what they are, so why not?
Get this next one, time travellers.
Yeah, do you know, I've heard that, but I don't always buy into that because do you know why? Where are the time travellers of tomorrow?
Yeah, also interdimensional beings.
Who knows? I mean, seeing as though science now is looking into and investigating and actually building quantum computers, which is something that didn't really say that could work, because quantum computers, I'm not professing to know anything about quantum theory, you know. Interestingly, Forrest Moon has just put a post up. There is an alien race called the Rogue that appear as shadows, that they are the ones who wear hats and cloaks.
Yeah. It was next on the list, aliens. Abductees have reported in many cases that alien grays seem to be able to pass through walls and close windows and to appear and disappear abruptly among other otherworldly talents. Perhaps, too, they can go about their alien agenda disguised in the shadows.
Exactly, and Forrest Moon has also wrote, the other thing is used in protection in paranormal investigation, and so many think they don't need to. Well, I'd like to say, as a responsible investigation team, we always do, don't we? We always have the things. In fact, I'm looking at mine now. It's on the shelf up there.
People that come with us, a lot of those people aren't necessarily religious, but the thing is, some of the team are, and some of us believe in certain things. We're not asking you to believe in them as long as we believe in those, and that helps us, so that helps you.
Yeah, it does. In fact, Verve 101's put an interesting comment up. In Kabbalistic thought, shadow... Oh, you've just scrolled down. In Kabbalistic thought, shadow... Shadow
people, yeah.
So, and you've written, sorry, I will carry on. No, that I'd be interested to hear in that, Verve, if there's any stories of these in the Cabal.
I'm just reading that what Forrest Moon put, what Eric's put there. They're deadly. The Rogue have been one of the theories that were Jack the Ripper.
Jack the Ripper.
I can't say too much at the minute about Jack the Ripper, but I have some very, very good theories. And if we go down that road and start chatting away with Eric and that, I'll forward this information on to you, because we have got some very interesting information about two possible suspects for Jack the Ripper, what's not even come to light.
Well, we could actually feature them in a show sometime.
Yeah,
maybe if you would want to.
I don't think we possibly could, although some of our paranormal friends could.
I understand.
So
yes,
I understand what I mean when I say that.
I do know what you mean. I don't know what you mean. Well, there are people, or there are certain think tanks out there who think that shadow people are merely, and I love it when they use the word merely, and they're talking about something like merely reflections of our emotions, or perhaps how we experience shadow people is more of a reflection of what's going on inside our heads rather than the nature of the entity itself. Perhaps it's a matter of overcoming our fears. And I've got a quote here. I have seen a shadow person 2 times in my life, says Yo-Yo. Yo-Yo. The first time I was 7 and I saw one hovering over my bed, which again is a very, very popular, seems a very, very popular manifestation for them. You know, they like to hover directly over people, whether they're feeding on energy, I don't know. But she goes on to say, I got really scared and had that sense of evil and dread. I screamed, and then it vanished when my mum ran in. Yo-Yo's second encounter, hang on, what's this by Verve 101? In Kabbalistic thought, shadow people are referred to as
Clip-off. Am I saying that right? I can't see it.
Clip-off. They dwell beneath the lowest portion of the Tree of Life. That's one of the levels. They are described as formless beings, which could be interpreted as shadow people. Yeah. Wow, that's a great insight. And then Forrest Moon says, if you look at the way Black Dahlia was killed the same way as the women Jack the Ripper killed, and there was supposed to be rogue bases off coast of California as well as off the coast of France. Well, it's all interesting food for thought.
It is. It's going to be very difficult to prove the Ripper stuff nowadays, because obviously all that evidence is gone anyway.
Yeah.
But, so they're all going to be theories, I suppose, nowadays, aren't they? Although they're very, very good theories.
It's all I say about the paranormal is all we have are our ideas and theories, but it's always going to be the best theories that rise to the top, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it is all we have. Now, some people, indeed, it is all conjecture today. You are quite right. You are quite right. Indeed, some people have actually gone to the lengths of saying that some shadow people or some entities are almost angelic in nature, and I guess you have to take every single story with a pinch of salt, don't you? Or you have to accept it, as well as the next one. I mean, who are we to judge? I haven't personally seen one or come into contact with one, so I don't know. Fingers crossed yet. This bit of a report says shadow entities can be nearly angelic in nature. Say some witnesses, according to Maria, who was a lady who was interviewed for this report. She has nothing but positive experiences with them through her son. Whenever I am bedridden from terrible migraines, my son says there is a shadow man standing at the foot of my bed, or always at the window. She says, we have lived in many countries, and he always comes when my migraines are extremely bad or I am very sick. Now she believes that this shadowy being is looking after her family or some kind of guardian. When my son was little, the shadow man would make faces at him to make him laugh, and would also tell him to be calm when he was being naughty, she says. Now, he just stands guard. I have never seen him, but my son, who is now a teenager, does and does still. Okay, he doesn't play with him anymore, but does nod to him as if to say, everything will be okay. We have tried things like asking him to leave, but he just smiles, shakes his head and waits until I am feeling better before disappearing. Is this a relative or an angel? He certainly is looking out for me and seems very kind and fun, but with a job to do. Now, I've got a very, very similar story, which I'll come to later on in the show, which you may say is similar to that. But has creepier overtones.
As you was reading that account from that person, I've got one from the other end of the spectrum, demonic. The dark countenance and malevolent feelings that are often reported in association with these creatures has led some researchers to speculate that they may be demonic in nature. If they are demons, we have to wonder, what is the purpose or the intent? Is it letting themselves be seen in this manner, or is it merely just to frighten people? Has anybody ever been attacked by a shadow person or the shadow man? I haven't seen any accounts of an attack.
I've got an account here that would suggest yes.
Go for it, let's lay it.
Yeah. In fact, I've just been going through my papers trying to find it now. And here's a good bit of news, people. I know it's not that one.
Well, just while we're searching, I'm just reading out what Eric's put, Forest Moon Paranormal. He's not trying to take away from the show. He's been a UFO and alien field since 94. That's where his angles come from. Always go by feeling. If you get the feeling of dread, it's malevolent. If you feel it's a family or a guardian, it probably is. So yeah, we understand that. Everybody's views and angles are welcome. Don't matter what background you come from. If you're a Bigfoot hunter, if you're a ufologist, or if you're a paranormal investigator, medium, psychic, whatever your background is, we love to hear. Your angles, so that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. All right, I found it. Well, this account, it's from something called the Official Shadow People Archives. Excuse me. And it's a really cool site. In fact, if you're taking an interest in this, you may want to visit it, and the address is www.shadowpeople.org, and you'll find it. It's the Official Shadow People Archives, and it has all kinds of stories in there, but this is one that particularly caught my eye, and is kind of linked to that last story I told you, that it came only when that woman was feeling very, very ill and she got bedridden, and that was the only time it came. Now, get your head around this. Now, this is from an author called J.L., and the subject is Shadow Person. It was submitted August 31st of August 2002. And it is the date it was submitted to the official Shadow People archives. And he goes on to write, "One night I awoke, paralysed," which is another very common theme, the Shadow People and sleep paralysis. "One night I awoke paralysed. I looked towards the window, my eyes being the only things that could move. Sitting on the window was a dark shape of a man who was watching me. Inside my head I could hear a faint voice calling, 'Come with me.' I could slowly feel myself dying, or what I thought was the experience of dying. My breathing stopped, and I could feel my heartbeat get slower and slower. I was terrified, and with every ounce of energy I was left with, I forced my body to sit up. The moment I sat up in bed, the apparition disappeared. I was completely drained physically. I noticed that the time on the clock was 3:15 a.m. This occurred a couple more nights during that month. The last time, I almost gave into the urge to follow him. The death sensation was scary at first, but it was exciting at the same time, kind of like the first hill on a roller coaster. It has been a couple of years since this first meeting, and I have been moving from place to place, hoping to avoid contact with this being. It always seems to find me within a few months, no matter where I go. Sometimes I want to be left alone. But this being, and the other things that haunt me, are always around. They don't understand how tired I can get at times." That was from JL, from Vancouver in Canada. Creepy. Now, you may say, just by the way it was acting there, or by the way it turned up when someone was really, really ill, or felt bedridden, or was close to death, You might argue that it was there for one job and one job only, and in fact, in some camps, it has been called the Grim Reaper in some occasions.
Well, it's long been held by psychics and other sensitives as well that beings on other planes of existence are of different vibrations. Science is beginning to look at reality on a quantum level in the same way. The particles of the smallest size exist as vibrations. Perhaps, some theorise the vibrations of our existence are beginning to mesh with those of another dimension, which accounts for the increase in such phenomena as ghosts, shadow people, and possibly aliens.
Yeah, possibly. Who knows? You see, this is why we're involved in this kind of work, because it's just a fascinating field, isn't it? And I think everybody in the chat room at the minute would actually tend to agree. Now let's read a few of these chats. Forest Moon, not trying to take away from the show.
Yeah, we've done that one.
Of course not. Okay, yeah. I just realised that. Always go by feeling. If you get the feeling of dread, it's malevolent. If you get the feeling, it's if you feel it's a family or guardian, it probably is. Yeah, trust your gut, because that's already worked out what your head hasn't yet. Sleep paralysis indeed. Common in abduction as well, it certainly is. What's good is we have 2 scientists on our team, and we'll be part of the global paranormal initiative we're starting up.
I think your initiative is a very good idea, Eric. I was reading the emails that you sent me, and
It is a good idea.
I sent Tony those emails, and yeah, we agree with practically everything in there. What you mentioned, it's a good cause. It's a good thing.
It is. It's a very good thing.
But it's a mystery, really, isn't it? There's no way to prove or disprove any theories about a phenomenon that is so mysterious, that happens so quickly and without warning. Science finds it virtually impossible to catalogue or study such phenomena in a methodical. Sorry, I couldn't get my words out. All we can do at present really is to document personal experiences and try to piece together what the shadow people phenomena might be. Perhaps it's an old mystery becoming more recognisable. Perhaps it represents a doorway to and from different planes of existence, or perhaps it's just shadows.
Yeah, you found the switch.
Got the right button.
You found the slider. Yes. Fist pumping like mad.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Forest Moon would like your show to I presume, to be a part of the shows that we will support on the initiative as well.
Well, we'd love that as well.
Yeah.
It'd be good.
Whatever. We're cool. We're cool with that.
I think obviously because we're on the other side, well, not the other side of the planet from you guys. We're obviously in the UK. It's good to have various teams. As you can probably tell, we're very open about practically everything. But we do come from that scientific background as well, so all good stuff.
What's your thoughts on the black-eyed children being a part of the Shadows? We actually believe they are a different kind of entity. We have actually done a show on the black-eyed people, haven't we? Which was about 6 months ago.
Yeah. Well, I'm personally on the fence about the black-eyed kids and things like that.
Yeah, it's always like that. I mean, I know in the field of the paranormal, you kind of get levels of believability, and I think you know what I mean about that. You know, you can always link things or see something as being plausible if it's close to something you've experienced yourself. If it pushes the boundaries, you think, well, yeah, maybe. Or if it's something. If it's something you think is completely new and really, really hard to grasp, we always like to question it before we.
I think there's been a hell of a lot more cases of it in the States. I've not actually heard any in the UK.
Yes, yeah, it's a popular place for them is a wooded area called Cannock Chase.
Yeah. I mean, science can explain possible ways why people's eyes are like that. There's explanations, but like you say, they come and they go, and they act very strange, and they're gone so fast, as Eric's just said there.
That's right. So
it is one for more research, and we've got to find more stories on that as well. We're looking for more up-to-date versions of it as well. That'd be good. Hi.
Defecation, regurgitation, and cremation. Hi there.
What a mouthful, or wish it wasn't. Won't go down that road. Yeah. Good evening, sir. Or
good evening,
madam.
Good evening. So you've changed your picture again, which is
yeah. So after
all good stuff.
I believe Tony's going to put a bit of a tune on for you.
I am, sir.
And we're going to come back with some big shout outs for some groups on Facebook there. And as well, we're going to play this recording from our first-hand witness of Shadow People Watch, which was done today, by the way.
Oh yeah. It's fresh.
It's fresh.
It's hot off the press, guys.
Yeah. So keep logged in there. Stay tuned. We'll be back in a few moments, guys.
We will indeed. Enjoy.
P.S.I. Radio, Yorkshire and the Humber's foremost paranormal internet radio talk show. Bringing you the very best laid-back paranormal chat from the UK with your hosts, Anthony Weeks and founder of P.S.I, Mark Lindsay. 7:30 till 8:30 p.m. GMT every Sunday, covering the weird and the wonderful, such as cryptozoology,
demonology,
UFOs,
investigation,
Divination.
witchcraft, near-death experience, and much, much more. Chat box is always open, so why not join in and become a part of the show? The paranormal just got real.
Sorry.
Flown to a distant land, together hand in hand. A getaway Watch the sun go down beyond volcanic mountains. Lanzarote afterglow. Oh, 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 oh. Something in the air that night. Oh, took my breath away. Captivating, graceful light. How mystical a halo on a supermoon. Sound of open sea. Night sky black as can be. Taste the honey from ruby lips. Breath of wind, fragrant air. See the hair fall from the shoulders. So alluring, the sensual world. Oh, 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 oh. Something in the air that night. Took my breath away. Captivating, graceful light. A mystical halo on a supermoon. Something in the air that night. Took my breath away. Captivating, graceful light. A mystical halo on a supermoon. Flew to an enchanted land to gaze at the moon, stars, and glistening jewels on ocean waves. Oh, oh,
Oh, wonderful stuff. Great stuff from Truth Seeker there. That was one called Supermoon. Squirrel's just said I'll look that up in a butt.
Don't, Shirley, don't start us because we won't stop laughing. Right.
I think you mean bit.
I've just got a few shout outs, Tony, before we play this recording.
Excellent.
For you guys that are listening live, if you go onto our Facebook page now, facebook.com/PSI Hull, I'll put it up in the chat box. We are now live streaming as well as live broadcasting. I've got a few shout outs for you to go look at on Facebook, and Tony's got some more shout outs after that. So a big shout out to Forest Moon Paranormal. Go search those guys out on Facebook.
Right over there in Concrete in Washington.
Yeah. Ghosts of Britain in the UK. Go check those guys out.
With Lee Steer and my new Facebook friend, Kay Jackson.
Aye.
So hello.
Lothian Paranormal in Scotland. Go check Greg and Billy out. Good set of guys. They're building some equipment, which is hopefully going to be displayed soon.
Are they? What they're building?
It's a converted EMF/ghost boxy sort of thing, I think. I can't remember what he said. He did tell me. I've got a very bad memory.
I'd be interested in seeing that when it's done.
So yeah, what have you got there, Tony, to shout out?
I've got RJ Murphy, who's up there. Hello to you, sir, from Murphy Paranormal, over in California. California. Excellent. Eric Kincaid from Haunted Apparition Hunters, all the way over there in Florida. Salute to you, sir. And Andrew Wilkins Morelli, who likes this kind of stuff. I'm giving her a shout out just because I can. Eric Kincaid, we've already said. Kenneth Bertlow, he's the founder of Mid-Atlantic Ghost Investigations in Iowa. Hello to you, sir. And also, I can't forget Dash Beardsley's Ghost Tours of Galveston, which, incidentally, great song.
Yeah, really, really good song.
Galveston, oh, Galveston. And last but certainly not least, Andy Ramirez, who isn't with us anymore. So rest in peace, Andy. He was from Pimped, which was Paranormal Investigations and Ministry Team over in Texas. And you know, all the time that he put into investigating the paranormal, well, he'll know now, won't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. God bless you. Yeah, very good. Very good.
So, if you've just joined us, our topic this evening is Shadow Man, Shadow People.
Our topic is Shadow... Oh, yes. Yeah, thank you very much. California and Western Arizona. Very good. Very good, very good. Yes, Shadow People, or Shades of the Underworld. Yeah, and then again from Murphy Paranormal, yes, R.I.P. Andy. Yeah, great shame. But, as I say, he'll know now, won't he? He'll know. All his questions will be answered.
Yeah, I'm sure he's looking down on us all now and laughing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've got a live recording. I interviewed... It came from my mother, of all people. I was told this story, as I mentioned earlier, when I was first, 16, while she was pregnant in 1970 with my elder brother, who was 3 years older than me, and then myself in 1973. I did a quick recording, and this is the recording. We're giving a thumbs up apparently to the live stream. Hi guys. We've just had a message on the live stream from Sally Eastwood. Do we just do Hull, or would we do other places? I presume you mean investigate. We investigate pretty much Hull and the surrounding areas for alleged paranormal activity, using a vast array of equipment.
A vast array.
And even equipment that we design and build ourselves.
Oh, yes.
So,
because that's the way we roll, baby.
Yeah, we like that. So I'll play this recording now.
Fantastic first-hand account of a shadow person visitation. Unfortunately, those of you on the live stream, you won't be able to hear this.
No, but just bear with us for a
so
minute.
So you should be tuned in.
We're getting highs on the live stream. Hi guys.
Nice to see you all in there.
Yeah. Sorry, we're watching about 3 or 4 different screens because people are putting messages up and they're popping up all over the place.
Which is great.
Yeah, we love it. So here is the live interview. Any minute now.
Today.
Here it goes.
Years ago, when I was pregnant with my eldest son, I saw what was a shadow in the corner of the living room. It was only a toe up and a toe down, but there was the shadow, and it was of a person. To begin with, it wasn't a person, it was just a shadow of a man. And I still say it was the shadow. He had a big hat on, but he didn't have a face to begin with. Same thing happened when I was pregnant with my second son. The same shadow person came. He had a big hat on, and it was a big hat with a brim on it. It was tall, it was thin, but again, he had no face, and he was very black in colour, and he had like a black shadowy coat that sort of waved, but it was, and then later on he did get a face, but it was the hat, and he had like a large collar round his neck, but it wasn't a tie. But he was dressed, when I saw him, it was all in, he had a white shirt in the end, but it was all in black. My husband couldn't see him even though he was with me, and we called him the Shadow Man because he came again after that. But he just seemed to pop in and pop out.
And I believe that's it. Short but sweet.
Yeah.
A first-hand shadow person account. Forest Moon says, I would say they have a vested interest in her kids. Are her kids overly intelligent or show any special abilities?
Sorry, I would say they have a vested in her. Yeah, the recording you just heard, Eric, was my mother, which I talked to her earlier, and that was the recording she gave me back. As being some over-intelligent, I've never been called that before, but my mother was very, very sensitive. For those of you who know what that means in the psychic field, she did a lot of tarot reading. She could bet on a horse and it would just win every time. She was pretty daft hand at that sort of thing. And as I got older, I tended to develop these abilities myself. I could feel like emotions coming off people, good, bad. Especially if it was bad, it made me sick, really ill.
Sounds like you're. I mean, most people would describe that as being an empath.
Yeah, so much so, and I could walk down various streets and I could see things how it used to be back in days before that. I took myself to. I got involved in a spiritualist church to try and find out what was going on, basically. And I've been part of. What would you call them? Development circles, all kinds of different things, mediumship, trans-mediumship. I've done a lot, but I tend to investigate more now. But that type of thing does come in handy if there's something very malevolent in a place. As you were talking about gut instinct before, that you know as a sensitive, get out, basically. So
yeah.
As they may be your guardian. They may be my guardians. I'm not sure. I don't know.
So many questions and so many possibilities when you're looking at an area like this.
Yeah.
And Shirley, I've just got to say, you wouldn't have heard it on the live feed because it's going through the audio equipment.
Yeah, it's back on the radio show, really, if you want to listen back to that sound recording.
Yes.
So if anybody else has got any more questions about that, just bang it up in the chat box or put it on the live stream, we'll try and answer.
Now, you cannot... Hello, here's a big one. Murphy Paranormal. Quick question for everyone. I noticed that when I started actively investigating, I noticed a dramatic increase in claims and personal experiences with shadow people. My wife, who was a die-hard skeptic, began to experience this phenomenon firsthand, more so than I. Would you agree with the probability that, in my investigations, it may have drawn their attention to myself and my family? I know what I believe from my experiences, but I would like to hear your thoughts. We had a conversation earlier before we started this show tonight, which resulted in me saying, as myself, Mark, and every paranormal investigator knows, or even should know, once you open that door to the occult and once you step through it, if you're prepared to, it depends on how you deal with the experiences that it delivers to you. Because once you open that door and step through into the world of the occult, it's incredibly difficult to withdraw yourself from it again and close and shut that door, because you can't unknow what is known. And I completely agree. Yeah, anybody who actually goes looking for it, in any kind of capacity, will find it, because if spirit wants to find you, latch onto you, whatever, it has a completely legal right to be there because you've invited it. You've invited it in one way or another.
Yeah.
So yes, I completely agree with that statement. Yeah.
There was my younger sister and Chris, in fact, when they first started investigating with me, Chris more especially, back 13 years ago when we started doing it, more on a semi-pro level, shall I say. Yeah. I did warn him and her once you start doing this, there's no going back. You're opening a door, basically. And ever
Absolutely.
since them two, they're pretty much like we are, very kind of scientific-y, skeptical-y sort of person. Now the things happen to them what they cannot explain. You know, even to the fact where a lot of you listening will also know these things can get you while you're sleeping in your dreams. You can get shadow, like you was talking earlier about shadow people in people's dreams and things like that. It does happen, and this happened to Chris and Laurie, but I did warn them. So once you open that door, there is no going back. Mm-hmm. That's my opinion as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Forrest Moon goes on to say yes. After that, Murphy Paranormal say agreed. Needless to say, my wife is no longer a skeptic. Thank you. Yep, you're more than welcome. Forrest Moon says, yes, paranormal investigators are more prone to drawing the attention of the paranormal or making enemies when you start removing malevolent entities. We have an astral team we use in paranormal cases, and we have safeguards to protect them, but yes, protection and shielding is highly important, as every paranormal investigator should know.
Yeah.
You know, I'm pretty sure there will be people that hear this show, and people, again, who watch the live feed, who think, well, no, it's just a load of Scooby-Doo messing around, isn't it? You know, it's and that's exactly the kind of person that's never experienced anything of the paranormal, has never looked into anything off their own back, have never how can I put this? Has never allowed a form of divination to choose them, and that is the way it works. Squirrel is up there feeling argumentative. She's saying, no, it isn't. What? It was real.
Bit of a typo going on there.
Yeah. No, it isn't. I think you mean they are. You press you're mixing your eyes and your nose up. There we go. It is real. It is real.
Have you been on a communion wine, Shirley? Have you got any more accounts there from people, Tony?
Well, you cannot look into anything like this and do a little bit of grifting research. Really, you skim off the top first, don't you, and find the easiest stuff to source, and then you start looking a little bit deeper. But obviously, one of the first things I'll openly admit I always look at is the wiki pages. Because you can make your own mind up you can make your own mind up about the wiki pages because they are all editable. But I think the Wikipedia page for shadow people is actually quite good, and it says some good things. And here it is. This is straight from Wiki. It's not our work, and it's not edited in any way. This is straight from Wiki. A shadow person, also known as a shadow figure, shadow being, or black mass, is the perception of a patch of shadow as a living humanoid figure, particularly as interpreted by believers in the paranormal or supernatural as the presence of a spirit or other entity in history and folklore. A number of religions, legends, and belief systems describe shadowy spiritual beings or supernatural entities such as shades of the underworld, and various shadowy creatures have been a staple of folklore and many ghost stories. Actually, what I thought was great about this snippet is this next bit, and I didn't know this, but I do now, and every day is a learning experience, isn't it? Mm-hmm. The Coast to Coast AM late night radio talk show helped popularise modern beliefs in shadow people. I never knew that. The first time the topic of shadow people was discussed at length on the show was April the 12th, 2001, when host Art Bell interviewed Native American elder Thunder Strikes, who is also known as Harley Swift Deer Regan. During the show, listeners were encouraged to submit drawings of shadow people that they had seen, and a large number of these drawings were immediately shared publicly on the website. In October that year, Heidi Hollis published her first book on the topic of shadow people, and later became a regular guest on Coast to Coast. Hollis describes shadow people as dark, silhouettes with human shapes and profiles that flicker in and out of peripheral vision, and claims that people have reported the figures attempting to jump on their chest and choke them. She believes the figures to be negative, alien beings that can be repelled by various means, including invoking the name of Jesus. Although participants in online discussion forums devoted to paranormal and supernatural topics describe them as menacing, other believers and paranormal authors do not agree whether shadow people are either evil, helpful, or neutral, and some even speculate that shadow people may be extra-dimensional inhabitants of another universe. Some paranormal investigators and authors, such as Chad Stambaugh, claim to have recorded images of shadow people on video. Shadow people featuring 2 episodes of ITV paranormal documentary series Extreme Ghost Stories, where the phenomenon is described as a black mass. Well, a person experiencing heightened emotions, such as while walking alone on a dark night, may incorrectly perceive a patch of shadow as an attacker. Well, I don't know as an attacker so much, but I actually have a story from, it must have been 3 years ago, something like 3-4 years ago, maybe a little further than that. But we were walking. That would be myself, my girlfriend at the time, Anne, and my sister. And we'd gone out for a late night walk, and it really was late. It was around about 1:30 in the morning or something like this. And we were walking down in the woods, which are just at the end of the road that I live on, in front of the river. There's like a patch of woods, and we were walking on one of the paths above the pond or the pool that's in there, and the 2 girls were hanging back, and they were talking about something and laughing and this and that, as I was walking at the front. And I saw on this path approaching me what I perceived in the darkness to be a chap walking his dog. It was this indescribable black mass with a weird shape to it, and which I thought was just a guy out really, really late walking his dog, as they do around there. And it came quite close, and I stepped to his side to let this thing by, and it just dissipated, and I almost kind of saw this shape break down before me, and then a big gust of wind went by, which moved a bush, which was to the right of me, and I thought, oh, that was a bit strange. I didn't want to freak the girls out, so I carried on walking. And then when we got back, Anne did actually say, she said, I saw you come up short on that path, as if something had spooked you. And I said, well, I didn't want to tell you at the time, but... Yeah. And it's then that I told them what it was. Yeah. Strange. So I may have actually seen one, although I don't know. I can't make my mind up.
Well, just got something off Eric Forest Moon Paranormal in the chat box. There's many types. You can't label them all as malevolent. Also, by bringing these things out in the public, can bring about a global conscience and give them life via thought forms, if that makes sense. Yeah, it does make sense.
Yeah, it does. Think of the tulpa that the Buddhists used to conjure up. The same thing.
Yeah, he's think of the Slender Man. Although created as fiction, enough people get terrified by the thought, the emotion projected can bring things to life, and that's true because there was a ghost story in Hull. Eyre Street Cemetery on the corner.
Yes.
Down Bankside.
Yes.
When people were, going back to the 60s, they wouldn't go in a certain part of the graveyard or like to pass it because they thought there was something in there. And these people believed it so much over the years, it actually manifested into something, an energy in the graveyard.
Yeah.
And that's a genuine story.
Do you know that you can actually look back into our theory and legend to kind of explain this a little bit, because that was the story of Morgan Le Fay, wasn't it? Because so many people believed her and believed in her powers, they were absolutely terrified of her. But after she died and she'd threatened to come back, it was like in some kind of bodily form or spirit form. People stopped believing in her because they knew that they had to. And that took away all the power, and she couldn't manifest and come back again. And also think of the Philip experiment, where they actually, I think it was somewhere in the early 80s or something, where they got a group of college students, and they said, shall we create a haunting Well, it was actually this professor that was saying, right, we'll do an experiment. And they created an entity on the campus called Philip. Out of nothing, they gave it a name, they gave it a background story, all these things, everything that made it personable. And they persisted with this week upon week and month after month, and then things started happening.
Yeah.
And then people would do a Ouija board and it used to spell out Philip and this, that and the other. You and I know that could be associated with the ideomotor effect.
Yeah.
But let's just say they'd created a haunting called Philip. So yes, we completely agree. Yeah, most of it starts up there.
But with respect to shadow people, I mean, to call these entities ghosts demands first a definition of what we mean by ghosts. But by almost any definition, shadow people are somewhat different than ghost phenomena. Whereas ghost apparitions are almost always a misty white vapour-like or have a decidedly human form and appearance, very often discernible clothing. Shadow beings are much darker and more shadow-like in general, although the shadow people often do have human outline or shape because they are dark. The details of their appearance is lacking. This is in contrast to many ghost sightings in which the witness can describe the ghost facial features, style of clothing and other details. You know, the two of the details more often noticed as in shadow beings or people are glowing red eyes and a hat.
That's right. Yeah, the stories, or the number of stories you can read where this shadow person is wearing a hat. And, I can hold my hands up and say that is definitely the spookiest thing that I can pull out of all of this. The fact that most of them are seen with a hat,
I mean, we've not asked the guys in the chat room there and on the live stream, what do you guys think the shadow man is? Do you think it's a spirit? I know you've given a few theories, but personally, what do you believe?
Yeah.
Just to throw that up there.
Yeah. Just to throw a curveball. Well, throw them up in the chat room, and then, Squirrel has just said, Forrest, I just liked your page. Forrestman replies, lol, why thank you, make sure you join the group. I post more information on there, and we have a large library there than on the page. Mm-hmm. Very good. Well, I think it's that time, sir.
Yep. We're going to bid you adieu. Grab ourselves a cup of tea.
Exactly.
And catch you another time.
We will. And thanks for Murphy Paranormal. Again, you guys rock, and I would like to thank all for their info. Oh, that's not a problem. It's just something we love doing.
We are here every Sunday. Well, mostly half of us is here every Sunday. 7:30 p.m, which is UK time. I don't know what time that will be in your part of the world. Probably 3 hours in front or behind us, something like that.
I think it's behind. Mostly Canada and America. I think.
Or anybody watching on a live stream, we're here every Sunday. It's different subjects all the time. We've got some cool subjects coming up as well.
Oh, we have. Yes.
And I know I'd like to maybe talk a bit about UFOs and things with Eric. At some point, because I actually witnessed a UFO. We spoke about it before. Oh, it's 11 a.m. where you are.
Wow.
A lot of people wouldn't be up that time in the UK. I would, obviously. Tony wouldn't be.
Yeah, Tony is always on, always holding the fort.
Shirley, you're the nicest stalker Tony's ever had.
No, bless, that's a really nice thing to say about someone. Just to call in a stalker nice. There's a little bit of an oxymoron going on there, isn't there? What a nice stalker. Do you know what? He was a lovely murderer, that fella. Lovely murderer. Boston Strangler. But anyway, on that note.
The paranormal just got
real. See you next week, guys. This is just it's starting to break down now, so we better cut it there. Right, we'll see you next week, chaps.
Sleep well, look in the corner for Shadow Man tonight,
and don't have nightmares, as Nick Ross used to say.
The next full moon. See you soon, guys.
God bless you. See you next week. Bye.
P.S.I. Radio, Yorkshire and the Humber's foremost paranormal internet radio talk show. Bringing you the very best laid-back paranormal chat from the UK with your hosts, Anthony Weeks and founder of P.S.I, Mark Lindsay. 7:30 till 8:30 p.m. GMT every Sunday, covering the weird and the wonderful, such as cryptozoology,
demonology,
UFOs,
investigation,
Divination.
witchcraft, near-death experience, and much, much more. Chat box is always open, so why not join in and become a part of the show? The paranormal just got real.